Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I'm Nurul Akma Kamarudin from the Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Study, UiTM Negeri Sembilan. So today I would like to share with you on the solid waste management, where my topic is on community participation in food waste separation, a case study in Rantau Negeri Sembilan. Right? Solid waste management is one of the environmental issues which contribute to the negative externalities, for example, on the health hazard, the pollution, and also the global warming. So we know in Malaysia, it is reported that 45% of the municipal solid waste is from food waste, and household make up about 65% of food waste. So in solid waste management, community participation plays an important role in ensuring the effective and successful of policies and programs implemented by the government. Therefore, the community is responsible for participating directly in the waste hierarchy, the most preferred action in the waste diversion, which is to separate the amount of the foods at home. So in this study, the objective are to identify the factors that will influence the intention of the community itself to participate in food waste separation in solid waste management in Rantau Negeri Sembilan. So according to our case study, we already collect on the 348 respondents from the Rantau household given a survey regarding the study. So the finding of the research indicate that there are significant and positive relationship between all independent variable and dependent variable. Next, the first part of this presentation is on introduction. So what is solid waste? It can be referred as the useless product or unwanted product. It's a solid state that is discarded by the society. It can be categorized as the hazardous waste, industrial waste, agricultural waste, biomedical waste, and also household waste. In United Nations Environment Programme report, solid waste is divided into three categories, which are municipal solid waste, industrial solid waste, and agricultural waste. Meanwhile, solid waste management is an administration or management which supervises the handling of the waste material, which comprise of isolating, storage, allocation, transportation, transfer, processing, and also disposal of solid waste. By referring to the World Bank, it stated that there are 2.06 billion tons of solid waste produced to the rapid growth and urbanization in 2017. So therefore, it is required acute attention as it's considered an alarming of global warming, global environmental issues. United Nations Environment Programme 2017 report mentioned that they estimate that solid waste will increase to 3.4 billion tons in 2050. So we can see in ASEAN, Indonesia is leading country that has a high level of waste generation, 64 million tons annually, followed by the Thailand, 26.7 million tons, Vietnam, 22 million tons, Philippines, 40 million annually tons, and also Malaysia, 12 million tons annually. So it is also highlighted that the percentage of solid waste contribution to the solid waste generation in each country is 60% in Indonesia, 64% in Thailand, 55% in Vietnam, and 52% in the Philippines, and 45% in Malaysia. Even though in Malaysia is not the leading country with the highest numbers of solid waste generation, that amount of it could fill the whole of Kuala Lumpur Conventional Centre, right? The government has outsourced the task of reducing the solid waste in Malaysia to the several private organizations, which as NW Environment Sdn Bhd, which this is covered the source region. Second one is Idaman Sdn Bhd, it's covered in North region, and also Alam Flora Sdn Bhd is the Central and Eastern region. When we talk about the community, community does not fully implement the food waste separation practice. It contributes to the total cost of solid waste management system, including collection, treatment, operating of the facilities, and other possible effects from the solid waste generation. They also stated that the high waste generation will incur cost, the frequency of collection, the size of container increase, and also reported that the waste collection is a residential area was more expensive due to the high deposition of waste around an area. According to McDonald and Samsudin stated that the comprehensive policy is crucial to support community participation by promoting the knowledge and the skill to practice food waste prevention as part of the solid waste management. So the latest campaign by the government, which is #Asingkan in 2015, to educate the society in separating their solid waste, especially in Negeri Sembilan in 2019, as Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Aminuddin Harun state that the household in the state produce about 405 tons of food waste each day. Since the SW Corp has started to separate the waste at home as compulsory, and those who fail to comply with the integration will be finalized. However, before it was implemented, there was an argument in Parliament whereby the former Menteri Besar of Negeri Sembilan, Datuk Seri Utama Muhammad bin Haji Hassan, argue on the implementation of policy regarding making waste separation at home as compulsory should not be implemented, as the community awareness are still low. Next, let us look into the literature review. So these are the subject that we are focused on, the intention of community to participate in food waste management, where we look into their attitude on the subjective norm and also the perceived behavior control. According to Gross 2017, the theory of planned behavior stemmed from the theory of reasoned action by considering the term perceived behavior control as the influencing factors to intention and behavior. According to attitude is the precondition that have been set by individual to respond to a particular object and condition consistently and regularly. So there are several philosophers had used the attitude element to explain the behavior intention in waste separation behavior. As the attitude of the intention of participation in food waste separation being measured, recent research by the Richard and Document 2018 proposed that the attitude also derived from the consumer background, which later shaped the opinion views related to this matter. So the consumer background also includes socio-demographic attribute as the particular community, such as age, gender education level, household size, and also the employment. So therefore, the statement is supported with the study by the Stoveva and Erickson 2017, whereby they found out that the background of people who live in a different place with a different set of age and education show a different significant attitude to different compared to the other group in terms of waste separation. So when look into the subjective norm, right, it's defined as the perception by others to another person that want another individual to be involved with a specific behavior, right? It is referred to how social pressure affect the performance of individual behavior. So the subjective norm work as a medium to determine how a person act. They use another group as their reference to perform in behavior. So in a study conducted by Chang 1998, there is a significant relationship between subjective norm and the intention, as it may lead to creating intention from another person. So according to Lee 2011, subjective norm are a pressure group that consists of close person, such as family and also friends. So the social pressure group give impact, especially in decision-making process, right? They argue that the person perform better in their behavior when there is a social pressure group. So we can say that the subjective norm plays a crucial or essential roles in the behavioral decision. And last one on the perceived behavior control. So this is how an individual manage to perform their behavior within the degree of difficulty of the task. So it is defined as the individual belief about his or her capability of exhibiting certain behavior. A person will react to their behavior based on the perception of the ease of the difficulty of the task given, the easier task for the individual, the highest the performance by them. Thus, the perceived behavior control can be determined based on the situation faced by the individual, as it's the difficulty to base on the situation around. The perceived behavior control is ideally a control belief that ability to change person intention when they feel that there is ease or difficulty to them. According to Jean 2012, perceived behavior control is something that more to a psychological perspective, where it is related to a personal belief in their ability. So it can influence the performance of challenging behavior by individual through their determination. So this means that the person behavior is measured through their belief, right? Through their belief based on the resources that they can manage internally or externally. So however, in certain situations, perceived behavior control is also a direct predict behavior. Most of the people only act in a situation that under control. So in other words, they aren't likely to take any risk that will give a bad result for them. Next is on discussion and conclusion. So basically, these are the summary of the analysis for these studies, right? So again, these are our objective, where we look into the on the attitude, on the subjective norm, and also the perceived behavior control, where we want to look into whether there is a significant relationship between the attitude with the intention of community, whether the subjective norm have the intention of community to participate in food waste variation, or the perceived behavior control have the significant relationship with the intention of community to participate in food waste separation. So the first one is on the attitude and the intention of the community itself to participate in the food waste separation. So this purpose of this analysis to determine to find out the significance of the between attitude and the intention of the community itself to participate in a food waste separation. So attitude is the first independent variable, and the analysis is carried out by using the Pearson correlation analysis, as the data is normally distributed. Based on the finding, it showed that the attitude influenced the community to participate in food waste separation. So the result is supported by the result of few previous study, whereby attitude is the determinant in explaining the behavior intention of the person separate solid waste, and also in another studies also stated that the attitude has the significant and positive relationship towards the performing food waste separation. Next is on the subjective norm, and also the intention of the community participate in food waste separation. Alright, a parametric correlation analysis is used to examine the relationship between subjective norm and intention of the community to participate in food waste separation. Is normally distributed. Alright, so the result show that the objective is acceptable, where they indicate that there is a relationship between subjective norm and intention of the community to participate in food waste separation. So this result is supported by the previous study conducted by many scholars, for example by Su, Lin, and Lu and Shen, discovered that these subjective norms are among the 3 variables significant in determining the intention of female and male household to participate in food waste separation. So other studies also mention that subjective norms are the primary predictor in influencing the community, especially in Sweden, to participate in separation. So both of the recent studies supported that earlier study by the one Abdul Karim Ghani, the judgment of the other towards the practice is responsible for influencing people to participate in waste separation. So lastly, the study made by the Pakpo 2013 also supported that subjective norm influence household waste environment in Iran. Thus, it is agreeable that the subjective norm also play a significant and positive role in determining the intention of the community to participate in food waste separation in Rantau. And the last discussion is on the perceived behavior control, right? So this study it indicate there is a significant and positive relationship between perceived work behavior control and the intention of the community to participate in a food waste separation. In examining the third independent variable, a few case studies also cited that the same results, such as from a study conducted by Knudsen 2004 and Toglet 2004, found that perceived behavior made a significant contribution toward the intention of household separation. Then the Pakpor discovered that the perceived behavior control has a significant roles in determining the influence of the community in waste behavior in Iran, supported by the study by the Wan Abdul Rahman Ghani that showed the perceived behavior control has a positive relationship with the intention of household waste separation. So therefore, we can agree that perceived behavior control has a significant relationship with the intention of the community to perform food waste separation. So in conclusion, the study is conducted to determine the factors influence community participation in food waste separation. Through the study, it is evident that community participation in food waste separation is affected by the intention of individual itself. Right? By using the theory plan of behavior, the individual intention can be determined through their attitude, the subjective norm, and perceived behavior control. Hence, by referring to the result of the study, all these variables have a relationship with the intention of the community participation in food waste separation. Through the finding, it can be concluded that the highest factors that influence community participate in a food waste separation is the attitude itself. So this is more because most of the individuals tend to change their intention based on their attitude. However, through this study, the government, local, municipal, and the non-governmental organization or NGO in the food waste should generate more idea on how to encourage the people or the public to involve with the solid waste separation. So this is because most of the committee, they have their knowledge on food waste separation, but they do not apply it as there is a low encouragement from their environment. So with that, I will end out my presentation. Thank you. So any question, you can find me at this email.